the spotlight of the reviewing station with more Transformers Studio Series the way you want it. So with that said, let's go ahead and continue on with these reviews with number 28 of the Studio Series line being Deluxe Barricade. Let's put the figure aside for a moment. Take a look at the packaging. Here's Barricade, up close in your face. The open window container. Number 28, Studio Series, Decepticon logo, Barricade, ages 8 and plus, Hasbro's logo, Transformers again, the Misaligned Generations logo at the top right corner, Takara right beside it. This side of the packaging, here we have an Autobot logo for the Decepticon packaging, which, you know what I think about it. Got the nice picture of Barricade once again. I stand corrected, it's not the same picture. We have the authentic Transformer stamp, which to remind you, if it doesn't say authentic, it's a knockoff. On the other side of the packaging, we got Studio Series number 28, Barricade, up close in your face, and Deluxe Class in case I wasn't clear about that. To the back of the packaging, we've got a picture of Barricade in both vehicle and robot form. 20 steps. Seems like a little more than that. The backdrop that the figure comes with, it's the police chase scenery, which you guessed it, blocked off by a sticker. This is actually interesting. Scan to win, huh? It's too bad my phone is out of service. Barricade launches into high-speed pursuit. Optics set to username Ladiesman217. Ford, officially licensed product. Celine logo. And some licensing down below. Right, that's gonna do it for the packaging, so off you go. Okay, let's go through the transformation instructions that comes with the figure real quickly. Well, you didn't see any of that, did you? Well, that's pretty much what I think about these instructions. They're actually pretty horrible. So, let's put them aside. And here's Barricade in his police car mode. And yes, it looks pretty accurate. We're missing a little bit of color here, but at least Hasbro took the liberty of painting the siren lights at the top, which is nice. We got police on the back, the famous to punish and enslave right there, emergency 911 response. We've got Celine, got some very nicely painted tail lights, which I do appreciate. The windows are completely see-through. Would have been nice if they were tinted black a little bit just to cover up some of this work, but whatever. There are no headlights at the front. Okay, if you want to count these little dots here headlights, that's fine with me. We got the nice grill guard here at the front of the car. No paint on the wheels, but at least they do roll nicely. Let's give them a test. Oh, he almost made it all the way. Right, if you haven't guessed by now about the size of my hands here, yes, I'm a giant. No, actually this is a pretty tiny vehicle form, and let's do some side-by-side comparisons to show it off with Deluxe Class Lockdown of the Studio Series. Well, that's not all. Here's Voyager Class Optimus Prime, which pretty much covers up Barricade. You know, being a Studio Series Transformer figure, there really isn't that much to say when it comes to the paint job here. Some of the areas, they got it pretty good. Other areas, I feel like they skipped out. And remember, you are paying about $20 for these, maybe even more if you're actually purchasing these online. So I'm going to do a quick little comparisons and show you what $20 used to look like. No, let me correct myself. What $15 used to look like when it comes to a deluxe action figure. And this is the straw that broke the camel's back at this point. Look at the premium paint job on this premium Barricade back in 2007 compared to what is supposed to be similar to the premium, which is Studio Series Barricade here. And it's like a night and day difference here. The only sad part is this is night and this is day. Check it out. Look at the sides here. Look at the difference, especially with the windows. Look at that. Plus, this feels a bit cheap here just because of the paint job compared to the premium Barricade here. Now, I will admit that this paint job here for the back window section is a little cheap when compared to everything else, but it's still the principle of the thing. At least they did paint it. And for some reason, police is upside down. Well, look at that. He's even got more details when it comes to the back section. They even bothered to give him a license plate in the back. There's a little kibble underneath in case you wanted to see. Man, we got some paint work here. That's amazing. But something that I will say is pretty equal on the figures is the wheels. None of them have paint. But to be fair here, people, I do think that the Studio Series has the better font when it comes to the Punish and the Slave. It's just bigger and it just fits right. But you ain't gonna get your own Frenzy figure, that's for sure. How could they possibly release a Frenzy figure for the Studio Series? I always did love this feature. I thought that was pretty cool to hide it in the grill. This one actually has some translucent headlights, whereas Studio Series Barricade does not have any headlights at all. So yeah, this isn't doing any justice. I'm sorry to say. I mean, this Studio Series figure is a joke in comparison to the original 2007 Barricade figure. Barricade does come with a weapon that can be stored in this vehicle form, believe it or not. There's a slot right here, And there's the tab right here, which is the handle to the spinning blade of murder death. Tab it in like so, and there you go. Yes, you got this sticking out. Regardless, let's remove it and get right to the transformation. Transformation on Barricade, you just simply untab the back section. Go ahead and untab the back of the car from the top. Split apart the arms. Untab the bottom. And that should free up the arms now. So let's go ahead and slide them up on the shoulder joint and raise them up just so they're out of the way for the moment. Come back to the legs and we're going to fold down the feet. Then we're going to take the back section of the car and we're going to slot it in right up here. Swing this down. Tab it in right there and we're good to go. Straighten out the legs a little bit. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to flip out the hands, which are pretty tight. Close that back up. Swing out the door. And it's on this double hinge. And kind of like the Masterpiece movie figure, we're going to, on the double hinge, bring it all back up like so. The last thing to do at the arm is to fold in the windshield. Repeat the same process on this side. Swing out the hand, close that back up, untab, and on the double hinge, swing this all back, and then come to the back and fold in the windshield. Split open the fingers. Then we're going to take this hinge right here where my finger's pointing at, and we're going to swing that forward just a little bit. So that way we can have clearance back here to pull out this section, the top of the car, and swing it around. Go ahead and untab the bump guard from the front, swing it back. It's on a ball joint connection, so what we're going to do is we're going to take it and swing it all the way down, clearing everything. Flip up the head. Make sure you got these hinges swinged out correctly so that tab right there can go into that slot right there. And once you hear a good click, you're good to go. Come back to the backpack and it's on a hinge. We're going to swing it all the way up. To the chest of Barricade, we're going to take the bumper. We're going to bring it down. And then we're going to swing it up. Just like that. Finally, readjust everything to your liking. And there you go. So here is Barricade in his robot mode, and you know, it's pretty accurate to the actual film counterpart. Yes, it has to cheat in some areas with some faux windows in the back for the wings, and maybe the chest section isn't completely accurate, but hey, the engineering just isn't there right now. And of course, these wheels should actually be right next to the wrist instead of on the side, and these wheels should actually be able to fold down. But check out that head sculpt. I mean, that is definitely Barricade. His eyes are pretty hard to see, but they are actually painted pretty clean. It's got some metallic blue right here at the crest, silver for the face, gold for the mouth, and that's pretty much your paint job on this figure. I'm not joking. Everything else is just solid black plastic, which to bring in a side-by-side comparisons in robot mode with the original Deluxe, even though, once again, this is the premium figure, but it was a $15 figure compared to a $20, maybe $25 figure. Yes, the proportions on the Studio Series is more movie accurate when compared to what was 2007, but there's no excuse. You can understand why I'm a bit bummed by this, especially when I'm looking at this one over here. Regardless, the show must go on. So anyway, paint job aside, which is slacking thereat, let's just take a look at all this nice detail from what you can actually see. It is pretty accurate. I mean, there's only as much as they could actually do when it comes to a very small figure. And a small figure he truly is. Now let me just go ahead and correct myself. There is a little bit of some extra paint down here at the feet. Some paint is better than no paint, I guess. And the articulation for the figure is a ball joint at the head, a butterfly joint at the shoulder, which also has a ball joint to get some nice inward and outward movement before he starts hitting himself. The figure does have a bicep swivel, single jointed elbows, but you can get him to go up all the way. The thumb and the two fingers are individually hinged. Nothing at the waist due to transformation. Legs are ball jointed at the hips, so you get this much kicking forward and that much going back. And if you swing his, oh no. No JCVD split. There's no thigh swivel cut, but the ball joint does allow a little bit of give. The knees are on double hinges and they do click in some places. Feet are on hinges to allow up and down movement, but no ankle rocker pivot. So here's Barricade spinning blades of murder death here, which does work pretty good. Closing the fingers reveals a hole where you can take this little tab and slot it right in here like so. And now Barricade is ready to saw off Bumblebee's hand or maybe his head, which never happened in the film. As a matter of fact, I don't think Barricade ever got the one-up on Bumblebee in any of the films. Right, it wouldn't be a proper video review of Barricade if I didn't show him off with his alter ego, so let's go ahead and do that. So here's 2007 Bumblebee in comparisons, and they're pretty much head to head, which work. I mean, you can extend the legs on the figure, but it just wouldn't look right because he'd be way too tall. But hey, if you want Barricade to have the upper hand against Bumblebee, I guess that's the way it can work. So here's the Decepticons from the 2007 movie compared with Barricade. And just to add a little flavor, there's Revenge of the Fallen Megatron in the back. Seriously, Hasbro, we need the 2007 design to fill in the void. With Barricade out of the way, the last thing we need to take a look at is the backdrop that comes with the figure. And yes, this is the exact same backdrop that Bumblebee came with. So we got some dirt, more dirt. We got a house and some dirt, some lights, and a refinery. The only real way to tell the difference is by the number here indicating that this is Barricades and not Bumblebee. And I never point out that there's a Misaligned Generations logo at the top right corner here. And then there's the authentic Transformer stamp, which to remind you, if it doesn't say authentic, it's a knockoff. Why do I always skip those? Well, that's about enough of that. Let's go ahead and put the figure on to complete the look. That's a pretty good size with this deluxe figure, being the fact that he's pretty small anyway. So I can still see a lot of what's going on in the background with the figure here in the front. I only wish I could do something about that glare. Regardless though, it's nothing to really brag about. It's pretty much what we got with Bumblebee. So let's go ahead and finish this up. Studio Series Barricade. My overall thoughts on this figure is he could have been so much more. Not gonna lie guys, aesthetic wise it's a really good looking figure. It's pretty close to what he looked like in the film minus a few kibbly bits here. Regardless, he's not offering much. Outside of his primary weapon that he used in the film for a brief moment, nothing here actually screams 20 bucks. I know inflation is a problem. I know the cost of plastic is becoming quite a hassle nowadays. But is this really the best that they could have offered us? I understand that they're trying to keep it 1-in-1 scale as best as possible when it comes to the Studio Series figures in robot mode. But if you're going to give us small figures that's maybe just a tad bigger than your Scout class figures, then why not offer these figures at like $15? If that means getting rid of the backdrops in order to save costs, then I'm up for it because I'm telling you guys, I could do without the backdrop. They're a nice add-on, but I just don't have the room to actually pose these figures with them. Personally, I'm a huge fan of Barricade. He's my favorite Decepticon to come out of the Transformers Michael Bay films. And I'm actually glad that he survived in The Last Knight. But I don't want that to be where his story ends. I want to see him come into Bumblebee 2 or whatever Paramount Pictures has in store next for the Transformers films. The world needs more Barricade. The lacking of the paint job in the robot mode is really hurting my final thoughts on this figure. Overall, I guess I would have to give it a mediocre grade, like a 5 out of 10. It's not a bad figure, it's a good figure, but it is kind of disappointing. So we got one more design of Barricade to actually go through with the Studio Series, and that's his Last Knight design. Maybe, just maybe, Hasbro and Takara Tomy can conjure up something really good here and improve on the basis that we got here with the figure that's causing some negativity. I'll keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best when it comes to that. And that's going to do it here, guys. So, questions or comments, you know what to do. Hit down below in the comment section of the video. If you liked today's video review, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to give me a sub up. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down. Don't forget to throw in the towel. And until then, my friends, this is the unprofessional toy reviewer Hasbro signing off by saying, when the opportunity persists, don't give up on your dreams. Seize the moment. And thank you for watching.